Welcome to Chris Veve Journey, where I take you on a trip to Veve, always as an adventurer, never as a financial advisor, so please invest with caution. Today we have a few things. For one thing, I need to make up an explanation about the drop lottery that was announced for the Master Collectors program. I did explain one thing not correct, and I was talking about that in the Facebook group. In the US Facebook group, I had to talk to someone who is actually from the US, so to make sure I'm not mixing stuff up in translation, because I'm a German and my English is not 100% perfect, and that's why I made a little mistake. And yeah, I'm going to tell you what the mistake was, and it's a good mistake because it means everyone has better chances. Then we will talk about the upcoming drops, the comic drop and the USPS stamp drop. That is something nobody was expecting. Yeah, and then I will talk a little bit about David Yu and his obsession with Jim Lee, which I share. So that is a little bit of a little story time, I guess. So that's at the end. If you don't want to hear about it, you can just leave after the main info, but I think it's just a little bit of an interesting story. So first, let's talk about the drop lottery. So I made a mistake because when I was reading the drop lottery, and even when I was listening to the AMA, it didn't occur to me that it was different. I did understand it like, so they take away a percentage of the drop for the lottery. So let's say, we don't know it yet, but let's say they take away 10%. And let's imagine these 10% are 20 collectibles. What I understood was that the top 20 people that would wager their points, that it's the top of those 20 people would get the collectible. That is wrong, it seems. And it does make a lot of sense after that guy explained it to me, that from these 20 pieces that were taken away for the lottery, only a few of those would go to the people that wagered the most points. The rest of those collectibles would be like in a raffle. Everybody who wagered points, those points would be used in the raffle as tickets. So I imagine it's 1 point making up one ticket. Maybe they make it more, maybe they say 5 points is a ticket, but I think 1 point, one ticket makes the most sense, right? But we have to wait for that. But that means it's way fairer than, or way more fair, fairer, I guess that's a German word. So it's way more fair than most people think, because it's even less pieces that go to the ones that invest the most points, and those points are burned anyway. So it's not like they can secure every drop with it. So everybody has like a second chance if he gets his points in. So you can decide if you want to wager some points. If you do, you have like 2 chances on the drop, and the only way you don't invest points, that will mean you only have 1 chance on a drop. So I think if it's something you want, like even if you just kinda want it, it still makes sense to wager some points, because I would expect that most people will collect, like if you have a small collection, let's say, I don't know, 20 pieces, like all your collectibles plus all your comics, if those are 20 pieces, that would mean you do at least 20 points a day. That is if it's all commons all over the place. That would mean 20 points a day. And I feel like that is enough to get into the drop lottery for almost every piece that you really want, or that you kind of want, right? So maybe you need more points. That would be different, but we have to wait and see. Just wanted to make this clear, and I will go back to the previous video and I will pin that as a comment where I explain that again. So my bad. Yeah, so from that, let's go to the drop details. Oh, and that was on the wrong page. We go back to that later. So first of all, that is the first drop that is going to happen tomorrow. No, that's the second one, right? That's the one at, yeah, that's 12 p.m. That's the second drop. So maybe to not confuse you, we start with the comic drop, because that is the first one happening at 8 a.m. as usual. It is also a usual drop. It has 30,000 editions, $6.99 blind box, common, uncommon, rare, ultra rare, secret rare. I'm not going to bother you with any more details because that's basically, if you want to know about this comic, check out my last video. I talked a lot about the Ultimates and the Ultimate Universe in Marvel and this comic in general, what my idea is. So there are no exclusive covers on this drop. These are all literally, the common is the regular cover. The uncommon, the rare, and the secret rare are 100% pages of this comic book, of the book itself. These pages are inside. I'm not sure about the ultra rare. I really forgot about it, if it's also in there or if it's maybe that might be a variant. I'm not sure. I guess it's a variant because it has the same trade dress as the common. So yeah, most likely a variant. Yeah, that's basically it. I don't know. There's not much I can tell you about it anymore. If I was to get something else in a common, because in my opinion, I'm totally cool with getting a common. I'm fine. I will just try to get one. I'm not even gonna try to get more. I will just try to get one, because if I get the common, I'm safe. That's the one I want. That's actually the one I want. If I'm deciding, aside from the money and potential worth of the book, if I get the common, that's exactly the one I would want. That's the cover I like. That's the one I need for points. And otherwise, if I get any of the others, there's a good chance I sell them. I might not sell them right away, because I know it's just an idea in my head that if you collect enough individual issues, that you would get a paperback. But maybe that is happening. Like there is a little chance that we see that happening. They want us to collect whole series, and if we had got six issues of a series, usually that's one paperback. I don't know about the Ultimates, because Ultimates is essentially a 13 issue series, so maybe that paperback was 13 issues. I have no idea about the physical paperback. However, I think the Ultimates are a great choice if you want to get people to read these books. And I would suggest, if you get this, read this book. It's interesting. It's a great starting off point if you're not familiar with the characters or whatever. So I don't know, that would be interesting to start at. And if they bring us issue 2, issue 3, issue 4, 5, 6, whatever, that would be interesting. That would be fun. It's a great idea. And maybe down the line they give us the paperbacks. And that could be a reason to rather hold an ultra rare or a secret rare, because now they won't be worth much. But maybe if you can get a paperback, maybe the paperback will be super special. Maybe your paperback will have the cover from your highest rarity. So if you own, let's stay with the example. If you have 6 issues and these 6 issues make up the paperback, maybe they will consider saying, okay, if you have at least one secret rare, you get the secret rare paperback cover. That would be great, right? That would be so awesome. And if you have the secret rare of all 6 issues, you get all the paperbacks, all 5 rarities. I think that would be fair. That sounds fair in my mind. So that's a possibility, but that's just a possibility in my head, because I totally made that up, that they would bring those paperbacks, right? Keep that in mind, please. I mean, it's no financial advice at all, but keep that in mind. That's why I wouldn't sell right now. I mean, prices are down anyway, so not a good time to sell at all. Otherwise than that, I don't think these have a lot of worth in them. It's not the first Captain America book. It's not even a Captain America. It's essentially an Avengers book, because the Avengers are called Ultimates in the Ultimate Universe. And yeah, you could see it as a first step of Captain America, at least Steve Rogers' Captain America in Veve. But there's also the other Captain America book with the other character. And yeah, like I said, this is the story of Captain America, but it's not a Captain America book, so it's hard. It's a modern book. It's absolutely not rare. It's pretty easy to obtain. Like $10 you can get this book in a pretty okay condition. So there is like nothing really special about it, except from being a pretty good book, an interesting point in time, And yeah, so that's why I don't think it makes much sense to keep it. I wouldn't invest in the secret rare myself. Even if I would be able to, I wouldn't. But if I get the secret rare, that is cool. I'd be happy. So that's so much about the drop of the book. And then we go back and talk about the USPS Series 1 Day of the Dead release. So this is essentially going to be 4 stamps, and those will be the first ever USPS digital collectible stamps. Stamp art. So I doubt that you will be able to use them. And those are not the first stamps in the world that are minted as NFTs. The Austria did this already. I hope it's Austria. I get Austria mixed up with Switzerland way too often. But I'm pretty sure it's Austria. They did it. And those NFTs were even usable, I guess. So it's not the first time a stamp is minted for NFTs. But it's the first time for the USPS, for the American market. So that's interesting. The theme is forever. And it's in honor of the Day of the Dead. So that's why the design is the typical Day of the Dead makeup design. It's pretty cool. I find it's very interesting. It's really speaking to the artist in me, to the art lover, but it's not pop culture, so it's not exactly in my lane. But these pieces are pretty easy to get because these 4 are in a blind box. So the price of the blind box is just 6 gems. It's even cheaper than the comic books. And yeah, let's talk about it. So the first one is the child that is going to have 7,666 editions and is a common. Then we have the child with a hair bow, so it's a girl. That will be the uncommon with 6,666 editions, so there's always 1,000 editions less. The third one is the father, 5,666 editions is going to be the rare, and the last one is the mother, the ultra rare with 4,666 editions. So all in all, it's not too hard to get one, I guess, depending on how many people join here. I'm not sure if we will have so many people join the market. I have no idea. Honestly, I have no idea. I don't think it's too interesting for most people, but since Veve is still a place that has more flippers than actual collectors, that yeah, I would guess most people will try, and with $6 only for a blind box, I mean, you can just go in and try it. Like there's nothing to lose actually. So that will be interesting. I'll be in. I'm in. I will just, I don't even know if I get the ultra rare. I guess I will just keep those because I invested just $6. Not going to take any of the marketplace. I guess I won't. Maybe I would get a common of the marketplace if the price is around the $6 roughly. Otherwise I wouldn't. And I would just keep that in my collection and just wait. Just wait a few years, see what's happened. Interesting enough, the license fee is just 2%. So if you sell this in the marketplace, it's 4.5% that you will lose. Way different with the Marvel stuff, that's always 8.5% that you lose. So that's like almost half just from that amount of money. So that's interesting. Yeah, that's basically all you need to know about the stamps. Let me know in the comments if you're going to get one or if you try in the drop. And if you try and you don't get one, let me know if you are keen to buy one. That would be interesting to know. That's really something I want to talk about. So last thing, yeah, interestingly enough, I was watching the Jim Lee art stream on Twitch yesterday, and he was drawing the Batman Who Laughs, and we even see Veve retweeted Jim Lee's tweet of the Batman Who Laughs that he drew for Halloween. That image was actually not auctioned off, it was a giveaway on the stream because it's Halloween. And yeah, I didn't get it. It's given away to the subscribers. I did subscribe. I subscribed Jim Lee forever almost. And yeah, that was a giveaway and I missed out on that again. I don't think I'll ever get one of those. I tried hard enough, but I'm good. The interesting part here, a little story I wanted to share, is they had David Yu in an, I don't know if it was the AMA or if that was the Twitter talk where he just joined. It's like 1 or 2 weeks ago, not too long ago. And he was talking about the length he would go to get what he wants. And he was sharing a story how much he wanted to have his comic book signed by Jim Lee and what he had to do to get it signed by Jim Lee, and ultimately made it happen. And that is interesting. I can totally connect, because for me, I got signed stuff by Jim Lee. I got like 4 pieces, 5 pieces signed by Jim Lee. And my holy grail was getting a drawing by Jim Lee. Something like this. I mean, there's not, it doesn't get much better than something like this. There is some stuff that's even more interesting, like where he spends a lot of time. This is like 2 hours of work, 1 hour, 2 hours work, 2 hours in the stream. I guess if he's not online and he's just drawing, he will take a max of 1 hour for that. He's that good. So yeah, for me, I tried to get this like forever. I was one of the first people that joined his Twitch, and when I say one of the first, I mean that joined one of the first few guys in the stream on his first day. I didn't even see that later. I was there day 1, right after he started his stream. I was on there, and back then he was doing a lot of giveaways. Like every stream were giveaways. I was always there, missing out so often. And I have so many stories about it. I'm not going to bother you with that. But I wanted to show you something, because ultimately, in the end, I was able to get this. So this is his sketchbook. And this sketchbook contains the images he drew within the first 2 years of his Twitch channel. So here's a nice one. I have to be really cautious. I really don't want to damage this. So yeah, Wolverine, and this is, oh, what's his name? That's the guy from Final Fantasy VII. It's a real short name. I can't remember the name. So yeah, and to get this book, you have to be subscribed to his channel and on his Discord. And you can still get this if you're on his Discord. I guess it's $100. I'm not sure if it's still signed. It used to be signed. But if you were one of the first, you had an option to get a sketch with it. And of course, it was very expensive, but that's what I did get. That's the holy grail in my collection. That's a real quick sketch. It is also said it's a quick sketch. It takes him just a few moments to make this happen. I saw a lot of the sketches he did in those books. I'm happy to say that this is one of the more detailed ones, I guess. So super happy with that piece. Really love this book. That's the favorite thing in my collection. And yeah, that's just something I wanted to share, because I thought it was really funny that David Yu is almost as big as a Jim Lee fan as I am. At this point, I can imagine that these two people are like, maybe not friends, but quite acquainted with each other, because they have big positions. Like Jim Lee, if you don't know, he's the co-publisher of DC Comics at this point. He did create Batman Hush, which basically brought Batman back on the map. Really was driving sales back then. And he actually did the X-Men relaunch back in the 90s, which happens to be still the comic book with the most sales. They sold about 8 million copies of that comic book. There was a trick with it. It had 5 covers, I guess. It was 4 covers that were connecting, and the 5th one was a foldable cover, so you have the whole image. That's one of the biggest pieces in X-Men history, I guess, and he redesigned all the characters, and that's how they looked in the animated show back in the 90s also. So yeah, Jim Lee is quite a personality in comics. I even have a art book by Jim Lee, which is way too big to show you, because it's original comic book page size, which is almost 3 times the size of an actual comic book. That's a very rough estimation. And the main reason I had to get this one, aside from the glorious art we see in there, it has a a copy, a foldable copy of that X-Men book cover. And that's like the next best thing you can have to the original. The original was recently sold. They didn't tell anybody how much it went for. If I had to estimate the price, I guess it will have sold for something between 2.5 and 5 million. That's what I think it has sold for. I'm very keen about 3 million. I don't know. I think 3 million is quite the price that is very possible. Maybe down the line we are able to know, but yeah, it's a little bit disappointing because everyone was just wanting to see that thing sold, to see how much money you could get for it. And I guess it's in the millions. It's such an important piece of comic book history. Awesome. If you want to know more about this stuff, like if you want to see that book, I can show you. And yeah, if you want to know the whole story about me and how I was able to get the not how I was able to get the drawing, but my way to get the drawing, because I was spending years on this and I had so many mishappenings, but in the end I was able to make it happen, and that makes me really happy. Yeah, just if you want to know more about it, I can do some stories in one of my other videos. I'll be happy to share. I just don't know if you guys would really enjoy it or if it's just too much rambling on like I'm doing right now. So yeah, that's it for today's video. I hope you had fun. Thank you so much. If you're still here, if you're still hearing this, that means you did watch the whole video. I'm very thankful if you do. I wish you guys good luck for tomorrow's drop, for both drops if you're participating. And again, let me know, do you participate in the drops? What are you expecting? And are you going to hold your stuff, or are you going to sell it as soon as you get it? I'm interested. Let me know. Thanks for your attention. See you tomorrow. Bye bye.